So imagine a scenario where you keep growing your business and results are stacking up and up and up, right? And you get it to a point where you're making 30, 50, 80, maybe even $100,000 per month. All right. I use that range because that's what we help people achieve. Right, particularly selling digital courses, coaching, consulting, digital affiliate products, that type of product into the marketplace. We help them get to that income range, okay? And so I want you to imagine a scenario where you put in the work, right? And you build a business, you build a personal brand, you're creating content, you're selling stuff, you're building a team, things are growing, and you've been at it for a while, right? Probably a couple of years at this point. Things have been compounding and building, and you get there. Right? Maybe you're putting up consistent 50K months and you're thinking, shit, I really should be happy, right? Shit, I really should be enjoying this. Shit, I really should be grateful for all this. All right? You'd be surprised how often people get to this point where they're making that kind of money and they're miserable, right? They're just not happy, okay? And there's a lot of reasons for this, right? And it's an incredibly, incredibly deep topic, but there's one in particular that I want to talk about with you in this video today, and it's one that's really in your control, and you can start doing ASAP. I don't care if you're at that income level yet, you can start implementing strategies and tactics to make sure you don't end up in this position and reduce the risk that this impacts you going forward. Okay, that's what I want to talk to you about in today's video. Before we jump into it, if you haven't already, if you do sell courses, coaching, consulting, affiliate products, and you want to see an example of how we do things that has allowed us to help our clients make that 30 to 100 grand a month without doing strategy sessions, discovery calls, needing setters, closes, running big webinars, running challenges, posting aimlessly on Facebook, all that kind of stuff, right? We've really trimmed it down to the bare bones. If you want to see an example of that, check out the first link in the description. You will see an example of an offer that I created and ran that pulled in 45K in 11 days. It'll give you a bit of a feel for how we do things. Okay. Aside from that, be sure to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, all those kind of good things, and we will jump into this one. All right. So I made a post on my profile earlier today because I had a client message me trying to give me a referral, and which I massively appreciate, and thankfully a lot of my clients are willing to do that because we help them out so much. And it was funny because it was someone, they were trying to refer me somebody who I'd had a falling out with a couple of years back. It was a long story, but it got me thinking about this topic in particular, which is you really need to ASAP, right? I don't even care if you haven't made your first dollar online and you're looking to build some kind of client-facing business, be that selling courses, coaching, one-to-one consulting. I don't care. You've really got to ASAP become comfortable saying no and filtering your clients. Okay, so the scenario that I had you imagining off the top where like the money is flowing and you hit that 30, 50,000 plus, maybe even up to 100,000 a month, but you're still miserable. One of the biggest catalysts for that I see people end up in that shitty situation is because they're working with people that they just do not want to work with, right? They've gone into this business thinking that the money will fix everything and it really doesn't matter who they're working with, and they're blindly going, well, if I'm making 50 grand a month, I don't really give a fuck what I'm doing and everything's going to be fine. Okay. And it's just not the case. If you do not enjoy the people that you work with, or the niche that you're in, or the industry that you're in, or the model that you use to deliver your products, it will not be sustainable. Okay. And you will be a flash in the pan, and that income will go down because you're just not going to be able to sustain it. You're just not going to have the drive and the energy to sustain it if you absolutely hate or dislike your clients. Okay. Thankfully, there's a lot of tools and strategies and tactics at our disposal to make sure that doesn't happen, right? I'm super fortunate. Like, because we use these strategies and tactics to really heavily filter people along the way, I love all of the people that I get to work closely with. Okay. And that's not by coincidence. That's because we take them through processes and I talk to a lot of them, especially before they join our like higher end stuff. And I'm going to be working more closely with them. It's a quality over quantity play. It's not just like pump as much volume through as possible. And what this all comes down to is building really strong relationships with your individual clients. Okay. We have a model where we want to work with people for years and years and years and years and years, not just like a one and done thing. And this all starts, the relationship building starts from like the first piece of content that they see. Okay, that's when the relationship begins. And then over time, the more content they consume, if people decide to keep watching, that relationship grows and grows and grows. Then maybe they talk with yourself or they talk with someone on your team, goes up another notch. Maybe they make that first purchase and go from being a prospect to a client. And then maybe they make that second purchase and go from being a one-time customer to a repeat customer. Every time one of those things happens, that relationship is going up a notch, going up a notch, going up a notch, going up a notch. Okay. And so if you're at the top of your business, you're the CEO, and getting access to you is kind of like the higher end packages that you run, which is typically how things work in the information space. You need to be, if you've only got one product, you need to be saying no to people that aren't going to be a good fit, and you need to be prepared to sacrifice the money in order to keep people out that are going to cause you stress and anxiety and be really, really difficult to work with. If you've got multiple products, you need to make sure you're putting layers in place to filter them out along the way, okay? You will hate your life very, very quickly if you don't like the people that you work with. And it doesn't matter if it's 30,000 a month, 50,000 a month, 70,000 a month, 100,000 a month. You need to structure the business up in a way that you really, really like the people that you work with. Otherwise, it's going to be an absolute pain in the ass. Okay. So let me walk you through a couple of things that you might want to think about doing. All right. If you're creating content on what I call like public facing platforms, okay, like this on YouTube, like your Facebook profile, TikTok, Instagram, podcasts, those kind of things. If you're creating public facing content, all right, I actually don't think about the people that just watch that as kind of like in my world yet. For me, the people who are in my world are people that have taken a step kind of to move towards the more center of our business, right? And that's why in each of these videos, I include a call to action saying, if you want more information, enter your details. That's that first step in us kind of moving forward a little bit together. It doesn't cost you anything, but it's a little step forward, okay? So that would be the first thing that I would recommend is on the places where you are creating content publicly, insert that first layer to capture people's information, and that's going to immediately dilute the traffic flow, okay? Because not everyone's going to opt in. It's just the reality of it. So that puts a first layer of protection in, okay? The next thing that I would recommend is having like application processes, right? Or making people answer questions before you send them over your offer, or making people answer questions before they can even pay you on your higher end things, okay? Some people get frustrated by this and they're like, hey, I want information on this thing. And I'm like, all right, sweet, let me ask you a couple of questions, or my team will say that. And they'll get all shitty and they're like, oh, just give me the fucking information. We just say, no, I'm sorry, but we don't need that many clients because of how our business is structured to hit the income targets that we're trying to hit. It's just the reality of it. It's not being arrogant. It's just true. And so we want to only let people in that are going to be a joy to work with, right? And look, sometimes we muck it up and we might let people in, and then some people can change after they pay you. Like things are a certain way before they pay you, and then after they pay you, they think they own you. And those relationships never last very long. But don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to make people jump through hoops, right? If someone reaches out to you, hey, I want some information about this. Sure thing, happy to send it over. If you could just fill out this application form first, that gives me a bunch of information, that'd be really helpful, right? We actually have an application process to go through just to get into my group. We've really taken that layering process to the extreme, all right? Then you can start to think about, okay, do we want to put any rules in place, right? So like, for example, my back-end programs, 99 times out of 100, the people that are in those back-end programs have been through at least one of my front-end programs before. Not always, there are some exceptions to the rule, but I will always talk to them before they come in to make sure that there's not going to be any issues, all right? To make sure that we're on a similar wavelength, similar personality, even similar sense of humor, because we run things a certain way and we want to maintain a certain energy in the programs, and we only want people that are going to be congruent with that, okay? So if you really want to formalize it, put some rules in place and say, like, if you've got a 20K back-end thing, put a 5K front end thing in front of it, or a 2K front end thing in front of it, and say, look, we'd love to have you in this. We just need to go through this first, get these things done, make sure we're a good fit to work together, all those kind of things. The more structure and layers and like clear ascension path, every time you put one of those in place, so it'd be an opt-in, an application form, questions, definitely purchases, every one of those is filtering people out along the way because they're points of dilution, okay? Now, in addition to that, you are still going to have people that come through and want to buy that you may not be a good fit with. And that's where I said you need to be able to say no, okay? So to bring this all together, right? If you're in the earlier phases, maybe you're making 5, 10, 20, and you want to push up into that, $1,000 a day run rate, 30,000 a month, 50,000, 60,000, 70,000, 89, 100,000, right? Plus, the sooner you can become comfortable saying no to people and actually reading a situation and going, is this going to be beneficial in the long run, or is this going to be an energy drain? Are we on a completely different wavelength? Is there any doubts here that I can actually help this person and they're going to be a good fit? All of those questions, I want you to start asking them sooner rather than later and really filtering your clientele, okay? I can promise you it's going to make your life a hell of a lot easier if you start doing that sooner rather than later. And the hidden bonus is the more you do that now, it's giving you more bandwidth to take on more of the right people. So you're probably going to make more money faster anyway, okay? So the big lesson here is start saying no to clients that aren't a good fit. It's going to make you enjoy your business a lot more, which will ultimately make you more money anyway. It's a really positive feedback loop that starts to happen. Okay. Hopefully you took something out of that one and got a bit of value. Be sure to check out that first link in the description. Subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, all those kind of good things. And I'll chat to you soon. Ta.